Welcome back to Backward Point Podcast, PSL Daily number 3. Today's game in discussion, Peshawar Zalmi versus Islamabad United. With me, as always, my brother, my co-host, a witness of the downfall of Babar Azam, like in front of our eyes in the PSL. I don't know. Bashar Sayyed, you saw the game. Your call.
To quote the legendary Shoaib Akhtar, the guy behind Newsbook is here, who sometimes steals the autofocus from my face to his face, which is very common.
And rightly so. So should he.
It is a very Shoaib Akhtar thing to do.
Yes.
To quote Shoaib Akhtar, this match was a phainta.
Yes.
A proper phainta from Islamabad United.
Embarrassing.
To Peshawar Zalmi. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. 2 years ago, on this podcast, on record, we decided to stop supporting Karachi Kings, and then we went to scout for different teams to support. I picked Islamabad United. You picked Peshawar Zalmi.
Yes, for a minute.
So are you sad that Zalmi lost because you're a Babar fanboy, plus you like Zalmi?
Who would say that I'm a Babar fanboy in this podcast? Like the comments that we get.
Well, you on record said that you were considering naming your son Babar.
That was the 2023 World Cup right before everything went down. So that was a different time. And honestly, me and my wife are both happy that we didn't do that. Second one, Saim, that might be a possibility, but I digress.
There's a player in the West Indies team. His name is Mikhail Lewis. Did you name Mikhail after him?
No, I did not. On the record, that did not happen. That's not the case. Mikhail was named after the archangel Mikhail in Islamic lore. But
Shout out.
Man, I don't know. As a Peshawar Zalmi former fan, I mean, it's sad.
Why are you a former fan?
I mean, I moved allegiance to Islamabad United last year, as you and I both know.
Are you a sellout?
No, I mean, technically, we didn't get paid a lot, so not really a sellout. But, I saw the organization. I like what they were doing, and I support, modern day cricket and modern day thinking, even if it's in a small little corner in the PSL. But as a former PZ fan, it is sad for me to see the way that this team is going down, almost scraping their way through to the qualifiers and the knockouts and just not making an impact. The PZ that I followed was because of Shahid Afridi. Obviously, I think this was the last team he played, or was it Multan?
No, he played for 4 teams.
Yeah, what was the last team he played for?
Quetta
was the last team he played for. But I remember there was a stint he played for PZ as well.
Azam Khan finished Afridi's career by smashing him for 22 runs in one of his overs.
I'll talk to Azam about that later, on why he did that.
But when you talk about modern day cricket,
you
talk about the modern ways to send money to Pakistan. And that's where Sendwave comes into place.
We talk about the modern ways to send money to Pakistan. How do you come up with this stuff?
Sendwave is fast. They're secure. They've got competitive rates. And they've given us the exclusive code, SCOREPK. And if you use that for your first transfer, you get $10.
Yeah, and the discrepancy in the competitors, it's crazy. Sendwave has probably some of the most competitive rates that you'll see, especially from the US, and you're sending money back home to Pakistan, over $100, you'll see that rate kick in. Also, they have this promo going on. If you're using it for the first time, you get a promo rate, like an intro promo rate, which is better than all the competitors, honestly. And
there's no sending fees.
There's no sending fees. There's only exchange rate fees. And honestly, I would love for you guys to try it out. Let Sendwave know that we sent you by using the code SCOREPK and get yourself $10 off your next transfer.
I think using it for the first time is a win-win scenario.
Yeah.
Because you get the best rates. You get the $10 towards your first transfer. And then you can assess, is this something that you want to continue using, or do you want to keep using other
And you
apps?
missed the best part about that, which is you support Backward Point. You let Sendwave know that, hey, Backward Point sent you use their code, and you're having a blast sending money back home. So for sure.
Absolutely. I think if you talk about the match, the first thing that surprised me was that Islamabad United won the toss and they chose to bat first. Now,
Confidence, man.
Islamabad is a team that loves to chase. On this same ground, last year, they chased a mammoth total, like 230 something, against Multan Sultans, where Imad Wasim was clutch. I think they needed 7 off 2 balls. He hits a 6 and a 4, finishes the match off. So for Islamabad to bat first here was kind of surprising. And also, Islamabad United, any regular team, having won the first match would be like, you know what? We're going to keep the same combination, winning combination, keep the momentum going, give these guys confidence. But Islamabad's like, no, we will play matchups.
You know what that is? Because this team isn't focused on the league stages as much as they're focused on the qualifiers and the knockouts. Because this team is forward focused and it knows that the semifinals and the finals are where they're going to end up.
But you have to win now to qualify.
Yes, but they're not focused on winning smaller games at the expense of not having tried their bench. You know what I mean? The fact that Matt Short hasn't played a single game, but Sahibzada Farhan has played 2 games. And not only that, but Sahibzada Farhan, after flopping the first game, comes back and scores a blistering century that even Mohammad Rizwan would look at and be like, yeah, that was probably the right strike rate to bat at. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to create the bench strength that if a Matt Short finds himself struggling throughout the middle part of this tournament, they have a Sahibzada Farhan who can fill in those shoes.
Matt Short is actually struggling with an injury, so they're resting him to protect him.
Islamabad said that he's okay, but they're still, load managing.
Correct. Yes.
And why not? I mean, without Matt Short, they were able to, the behemoth that they put up on board, the 230, whatever, 240 or something they put up. I mean, you don't even have Matt Short in that 11. Imagine having him in that 11 and then going out like that. I mean, Andres Rose, no, disrespect to him, but he's sort of like a seat filler right now for when Matt Short does come in. And then Matt Short and Sahibzada Farhan with Monroe at 3. It's tough. It's looking tough.
This is a very dangerous Islamabad team. But I think the reason why they played Ben Dorshus ahead of Riley Meredith is because of the left arm angle, and plus because of the matchup against Babar Azam. Now we'll talk more in detail about Babar Azam, but
second innings,
just in general, Babar averages the lowest against left arm pace. And so when you think of how Babar gets out in the power play against left arm pace, whether it be against Shaheen, in-swinger, Amir, in-swinger, or just the first match where the ball was decking across,
Arshdeep Singh comes.
This was a perfect change to get Ben Dorshus in, left arm bowler who bowls in the power play. Plus, he's somebody who gives you batting depth towards the end because he can smack a few, which he did in this match.
I mean, talking about batting depth, Bashar, Shadab Khan didn't bat, Imad Wasim didn't bat,
Naseem didn't bat. Like the depth that Islamabad United has from their 7, 8, 9s, man, like dangerous is an understatement right now for IU because not only are they dangerous, but they're forward thinking, they're balanced. They have high-tech people sitting in the dugout telling the management, telling the coach, Rehan, Bhai, what to do. And not only are they listening to that analysis, but they're also applying it. And then you get situations where Ben Dorshus bowls the second over and gets Babar Azam out. My only concern is that Islamabad is a team that likes to peak at the right time. Like last year, when we collaborated with them, they had a horrific start to the PSL. I think they lost like the first 3 of the 4 matches.
Yeah.
And there's a comment on one of our podcasts that said that Islamabad United, 1 win, 3 podcasts.
That goes to show the regularity at which we were releasing pods.
But when you watch the documentary Islamabad released of just the vlogs of the matches and the behind-the-scene footage, the confidence within the dressing room was unmatched. It was kind of surreal because they believed once their players start clicking, they'll start peaking and they'll go on to win the tournament, which they did. So for them to get on to a great start like this, I'm a little concerned.
I would be concerned. Actually, I'm not concerned. I might be overconfident, but I have faith in these guys. They've done it before. They're running a back-to-back, and a team that's already defending a championship coming out and giving 2 performances like these, that's where it is. Now, that has to be said. Lahore Qalandars and Zalmi, not the strongest teams to be assessing the wins from, and that's probably why you saw a shift in Team 11 in this game. Zalmi, yes, it has the firepower up top with Saim and Haris, but what they've done at the draft is basically what Pakistan cricket team did when they announced their squad. They lost way before the tournament even started. Their bowling is really paper thin. They don't have the all-round experience that you need at 6, 7, 8. And at the same time, their batting, if they doesn't fire from the top, they're done.
They have no batting depth. They have George Linde coming at number 7 and Alzari Joseph coming at number 8. So they have no batting depth at all.
And using RTM to secure TKC, that decision itself is like batting them
in
back.
Platinum.
Yeah, in Platinum. Like, what are they giving him? 250K? That's an insane amount of money for TKC. Not only that, but him batting where he is, he's been a no-show for the past 2 games. And it doesn't look good on Babar Azam because he's also been a no-show for the past 2 games.
It's also like they have like 5 openers in the team. So Babar,
Saim,
Haris.
Sorry, not Rizwan.
Mitch Owen.
Yep.
And TKC. So it's just, I don't understand the combination going on over here.
I think they have the pieces to do something with this lot. They just don't know what to do. And, that's where a management system like Islamabad United comes out. And honestly, it's like a matchup of thought processes. It's a matchup of, the way that you want cricket to be played in Pakistan. The old way and the new way. The old guard versus the new guard. And the new guard just smashing them, man. Honestly.
243 runs at a Pindi ground sounds quite reasonable. This is one of the highest scores by Islamabad in their entire PSL history. And a lot of it has to be credited to the unbelievable start given by Sahibzada Farhan. Now, we talked about him pre-PSL, that this guy has gone unpicked in the PSL draft. The initial PSL draft, he was not picked by any teams, and he was still one of the top performers in the Pakistan domestic scene, one of the highest six hitters, an aggressive opener at the top, and I was baffled by the fact that he went unpicked.
It's reminiscent of another situation that we had last year with Haider Ali. He also went unpicked until the supplementary round came up, and then Islamabad picked him up. And not only that, he won games, crucial games for Islamabad later into the tournament.
Haider was most surprising because Haider went from being platinum pick to unpicked.
Yeah, I think that's a more drastic, result. But at the same time, this guy scores 3 centuries, 600 runs in a tournament 2 weeks ago, and nobody bats an eye.
In these same conditions.
In the same conditions. And, if you're trying to win in a PSL, we're not talking about an ICC event here. For the PSL especially, him going unpicked, shocker.
I know Islamabad has this mantra that they want to give opportunities to top domestic performers. Last year, they picked Shahab Khan, who was the best bowler of the National T20 Cup. Unfortunately, couldn't get matches, but he was still picked. And this time, picking Sahibzada Farhan was a great choice. And actually picking him, using his good form and sending him as an opener to just go out there, do his thing, and giving him the confidence despite him not doing well in the first match. Farhan said in the post-match that he spoke with Fakhar Zaman, and Fakhar told him, just play the PSL as you play domestic. And century.
Not only that, he talked about management. He name-called Rehan Bhai. He said Rehan Bhai gave him confidence. Not only that, Rehan Bhai said to Farhan, you're going to go out there and score 7 days.
Today's your day.
Today's your day. And I don't know what RB is drinking, but he definitely has some sort of insight on these players. And it's not the first time that he's gone out and done stuff like that. When he was on a podcast, he mentioned about how he just knows when a player is going to click and when a player isn't going to click. And he has that intuition. You can call it a sixth sense, or you can just call it the reading of the game. He knows the ins and outs of the game, and especially the ins and outs of his own team really well. And he can go out there and make claims like that. And then Sahibzada Farhan can come out and score a century like that. Not only that, I'm looking at their squad, the Islamabad United squad. Rasif Dusan is not even in the country yet. Haider Ali is on the bench, and Matt Short didn't play. Their firepower is so deep, man.
It must be so hard for them to pick a playing 11 because they have so many options on the bench. I think they've really gone back in this PSL draft and found out the missing pieces from last season, and they've really picked the right guys to come in and perform for them. Even just the pick of Jason Holder. He's scoring runs. He scored 20 off 11 balls today in the death, and he's taking wickets, and he's acting as a really good sixth bowling option for them.
Honestly, yes, and the decision to send Holder over Shadab and I believe Imad. I mean, dubious at first. Like I didn't have that confidence in Jason Holder, but that's what I'm trying to say, that when Islamabad United is a forward-thinking team and they're looking at the semifinals and the finals, especially having Jason Holder click and runs right now is vital for them. In the later stages of the game when it matters the most. So this is what they're trying to do. And honestly, not gonna lie, this is kind of disrespect to Peshawar Zalmi that they're taking PZ in that regard, which is, hey, let's try out a combination. Let's try out our bench strength against Peshawar Zalmi. That should be an indictment of Peshawar Zalmi, and the think tank should go back and look at what they've done wrong for the opposition to have such confidence against them.
I don't think that they're playing bench strength. I think they're playing their best matchups against players, and that's where Ben Dorsh's or Saad Masood comes in. It's not about giving that player a chance, It's
you don't think Andres Gauss is being carried by Islamabad United right now?
Well, right now he's playing because Matt Short is not fully fit.
But Monroe can open.
Oh, Monroe, yeah, true. But
Monroe and Sahibzada Farhan can open, and they can have Haider Ali in the middle somewhere. But they're not doing that.
I think having Monroe one down gives them a good lefty combination towards in the middle.
They have a bunch of lefties that they could use if they need. Mohammad Nawaz is in there. They haven't used him. Imad Wasim is in there.
As a top order batter.
Okay, fair enough. Nawaz has batted at 4 before as well, so they could float him around if they needed to. But I'm just trying to say, Andres Gauss does not have that much of. He's a placeholder for when RVD comes back. To be fair, and that's basically what it is. They haven't played their full strength team yet in the 2 games.
That's true. I agree with that.
So, and the full strength team with Haider Ali in there, with Matt Short in there, Who else did they got? They haven't gone around yet.
RVD is
Nawaz
not.
hasn't really gotten time yet. They played Saad Masood instead. RVD coming back.
It's also a very
Vali
long
Meredith.
tournament. There's 8 more matches to go. They're going to be playing in Karachi and Multan, so those pitches will act differently. So they might bring in different combinations when they need to. But it just seems like they have all the cards right now in their hands.
Yep, and that's why I mean that they seem a lot more dangerous to me right now. And the whole peaking at the right moment in time. What if the peak never ends? What if it is the Himalayan peak, but it actually they just keep going up, and boom, back to back? Because I tweeted from our page today. Islamabad United is going back to back.
I think it's really early. It's very early.
I called it.
It's the law of averages. If they're winning right now, they could lose like a crucial match in the qualifiers or eliminators, and that would be in for them. Like I think 2020 PSL, they won 8 matches out of 10 in the league stage, and then they lost like an eliminator or a qualifier. Like they lost in a qualifier plus eliminator, then they were out.
Yeah.
So it depends when you have those bad games, and for them it happened toward the back end, which is why I think last season was very good for them because they peaked at the right time and won.
But the difference between that 2020 squad and this squad is that these are defending champions. Most of these players have been in this rut less than a year ago, and they know how to defend their title. So they're looking like a different set of people, man. I'm being honest. Islamabad United, watch out for them.
I want to talk about Zalmi's bowling because their best bowler was Alzari Joseph, 4 overs, 2 for 39. And he had a really good opening spell. I think the first over he gave 3 runs, was bowling at high pace, good swing. But aside from Alzari Joseph, everybody went for tons of runs. Ali Raza is an incredible prospect. He's 17 years old, bowls 145 clicks, has great line and length, but he just looked absolutely clueless today. And not even just the bowlers, but even Babar Azam as a captain looked like he had no response. He was so intrigued within the game that he dropped a dolly towards the end. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, not only that, the ball before that went 6 over his head. I mean, that was a tougher chance, but the dolly was just inexcusable. And, Babar Azam, we've been critical of his captaincy many times, and it just showed again that he is a reactionary captain. And you cannot talk about the quote unquote bad bowling or the lack of depth in the bowling without talking about the captaincy. It was like at one point, I think Sahibzada Farhan hit a shot over covers, and then Babar put a fielder at covers, and then Sahibzada Farhan hit a shot over square cutted for 4, 2 deliveries after that, and then he moved the fielder again. So like there was no plan, there was no execution. I understand that the Pindi pitch is absolute nightmare for bowlers. Like there's nothing for them, and I have been critical of that sort of environment where it's just a bat heavy game, and that's not fun to me. Like I equate a bat heavy game, a pitch that's that flat, to a Fast and Furious movie. Yes, it makes $1 billion, and yes, people watch it, and just 10 of them or 11 of them or how many of them there are. But that's not my cup of tea. I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie since the 5th one. I would rather go watch an indie. I would rather watch a Nolan movie again, or I'd rather go watch an old Jaws movie or something like that. I like the balance of bat, bowling, fielding, where it's 180, 200, and it's like tough, and the chase can be on. When it's 240 on the board, and the game is over in the first 6 overs, when the opposition is batting. Like when Zalmi was 43 for 3, it was over. There was no point in watching the rest of the 16 overs or the 14 overs because there was never going to be a fight back that was going to be good enough to chase that 240. So, not to take the onus completely off of the bowlers, the Pindi pitch is a nightmare. It's absolutely disastrous for your economy and your averages if you're bowling on that ground. But as a captain, you cannot do what you did today. Like speaking to Babar Azam directly, it just feels like he not only has he forgotten to bat, but he's forgotten to captain as well. Like he's been a captain of Zalmi for the past 3 or 4 years for the major part of it, and it just, at this level of captaining the national side for 4 years and then captaining your domestic side for however long and then captaining your PSL team for 4 or 5 years as well, you should know better than to do what you did today.
I didn't even see Babar coming up to any bowlers and talking to them. Ali Raza he was shell-shocked. Like he was giving away too much by his facial expressions. And at no point did I see Babar Azam come up to him, put his hand on Ali Raza's shoulder, talk to him, maybe some game plan conversations.
Because Ali's 17 years old, man. So you're 17 years old and you're going to whip for 45 runs in 3 overs. Of course you're going to be shell-shocked. There's no way for you to have a poker face. You're a young kid. And that's when your 31-year-old captain who's been playing for Pakistan for the past 11 years has to come up and give you that confidence. But there was none of that. We saw none of that going into this game. And I feel like Zalmi had already dropped their shoulders way before they went into bat. It was that moment where Babar dropped the simple dolly that showed me that this confidence is completely gone.
Babar's captaincy was helped out a lot in the past in Zalmi by Darren Sammy. Now, we've seen a lot of footage of last year where Babar is fielding on the boundary and Darren Sammy is coming up to Babar outside the ropes, having a conversation, chit-chatting, giving advice. And this year, Darren Sammy is not available to help Babar Azam out or even just coach the Zalmi team.
Is it because he's like coach of West Indies?
I think he is part of the West Indies setup right
I know
now.
that for sure. I remember the Craven Cricket podcast guys were on our show, and they talked about how Darren Sammy is basically becoming the most inductee of the West Indies system. And maybe that's the reason why, that job entails so much that he was not able to give time to Zalmi. That's what I believe. And then most inductees is now taken ACC presidentships too as well. So like the contrast there is just unforgiving.
It is. I mean, but yeah, I think they are missing Darren Sammy's presence and his leadership and the sort of tactical advice he could provide Babar Azam. Because I think Babar continues to be a reactionary captain. He's not proactive. He doesn't take decisions in advance or like to prevent stuff. He reacts to stuff happening in front of him. And I think they could have had better bowling plans here in Pindi. We saw the first game where Islamabad was playing against Lahore, that any bowler who bowled at high pace on a back of a length, batsmen were struggling. So I didn't see those sort of bowling plans in this match. And as soon as Farhan started to smash them, they were clueless and perplexed.
And yeah, like it's just not the Zalmi way. Zalmi has always been an aggressive team. They take the attack to the opposition and they're not always as reactionary as defensive. So that whole tactic was tough to see, especially knowing what Babar has been through in the past 3 or 4 years, just in the national circuit. I thought this would be a different side that we're seeing him, but so far it's been the same old, and we know how that movie ended. If you want to move over to Zalmi batting,
I mean, just speaking of same old, Yashi Sports has been an old, reliable sponsor of this podcast. They are a top quality company if you want to buy cricket equipment in Canada or even North America, because Yashi Sports provides free shipping on orders over $350. So go on yashisports.com, buy your equipment. We are just weeks away from cricket season starting here in North America. And you can use the code BP10 for 10% off your purchase. And if your order is altogether $350 or above, you can get free shipping. So Yashi Sports, Canada's home of cricket.
Totally. I had a quick question. Is before we move completely into the batting, is Muhammad Ali found out? Because Zalmi has Nahid Rana and Luke Wood in the bench. They haven't tried them out yet.
I think Muhammad Ali was a good bowler because Multan played a lot of its matches in Multan, and in the Multan stadium, he was bowling really well.
Mm-hmm.
Once you came outside of Multan, he was kind of expensive and he gave a lot of runs. So having him go for diamond category and for him to just be smacked all over the place, he did not look like a leading fast bowler for Zalmi who was picked in the diamond category. He looks, as of now, to be very much found out.
4 was 57 for him in this game. And
even last game, he was very expensive.
Yeah, that's tough. Sorry, 4 57 against the Quetta game. Today, I believe he went, let me just double check
51 today?
To 51. Some odd, some number very similar to that. Yeah, 4 over 51 today. So, I mean,
so he's scoring 50s consistently.
Yeah, he scored 50s in the past 2 PSL games that he's played.
If he was a batsman, this would be good news.
Great for him. But, and it's not only that, it's 50s in both games without a wicket.
Brilliant.
I mean, we'll talk about brilliance when we talk about Zalmi's batting.
Okay, wait, hold on. We had a big debate on the Patreon WhatsApp chat. Shout out to all our patrons. But when we saw 244 on the board, there were debates around whether Babar Azam and co can chase us down. And there was a bit of a consensus that it's actually kind of good for Zalmi if Babar gets out early, because if he stays there for about 15, 20 overs, he consumes a lot of deliveries, that Zalmi may not have the best chance of chasing this total down. And this point was doubled down by ESPN Cricket Info representative Daniel Rasool. And I was just reading his match report, and he did my boy Babar Azam dirty, because he went on to say that, and I quote, "It was a total Babar Azam is, in truth, ill-suited to help chase down. So his early departure, nicking off to first slip off of Dorshus on his third delivery, didn't tilt the scales much."
Yeah.
Daniel, what are you doing, bro?
That's brutal, Daniel.
I didn't say this is Daniel Rasool of Cricket for saying this.
That's brutal. I think he's saying it off of the backing of the stats that he's probably read. And, obviously the consensus is that if you want to chase something mammoth like that, either Babar has to go at 220 strike rate or he has to get out really, really early. Because if he stays there, the longer he stays there, the tougher it will be for the Maximus batsmen that come after him to actually have a shot at this. It's the same argument you and I were making against the Rizwan century, that the century was at 167, 170, but it was too slow in the context of that game. Like, we've had Rizwan fans in our comments be really upset about our take with that, and they think that we have an anti-Rizwan situation going on. But it's just that Rizwan/Babar anchor stuff does not really work in Pindi, because in Pindi you got to go from ball one, and literally if you take 4 or 5 deliveries to settle in, those 4 or 5 deliveries could literally go for 15 or 20 that you've taken now off of your total. And same comes to this. Now, I'm not 100% in alliance with you and Daniel Rasool and the Patreon chat when it comes to that take. I think that if Babar wanted to, he could accelerate. And acceleration means that maybe he would get off at 30, 35, playing 10, 15 deliveries. And that's fine with me. If Babar gave me a 15 ball 35 while chasing this, I would take that. But the problem is, right now, Babar Azam seems just clueless. Like, has he forgotten how to just bat? Because the captaincy is horrible, the fielding not so good, and then when the batting comes in, his net aggregate in this game is a net positive for Peshawar Zalmi, and that's not the Babar Azam that we've known to grow and love. And it just shocks me because that's
net negative for Zalmi.
What did I say?
Positive.
Net negative for Zalmi. Yes, it was a net negative for Zalmi, and it's 2 games. Both games he's looked lackluster. First game he goes out for a duck against Mohammad Amir, who's your arch rival, who talks smack against you on TV all the time. And your go-to to all your naysayers is, we'll talk about it in the ground. Ground mein jawab denge. And he said this again today after the post-match presentation, and when Shadab was sort of, did you see that?
I saw that.
Shadab basically came to Babar Azam and did the thing in Joker that we see, which is basically he pushes his lips up and says smile and runs away, right? And Zainab was like, so what are you going to say to that? And he was still laughing and he was like, we'll talk. We'll give them a reply in the ground. And I'm like, I'm waiting since the 2023 press conference when he told the journalist, Garn mein jawab denge. So when is that going to come? Because right now it just seems like he's on a downward spiral and it just keeps getting worse and worse for my boy. And if he can't even come in the PSL, which is supposed to be his home ground, which he's been averaging 140 strike rate for the past couple of years, if that's his performance right now, then it's going to be tough for Zalmi to do anything in this tournament.
You mentioned Babar could score 10 ball, 30, 15 ball, 35, and I would disagree with that. And I think the main issue I have with Babar and Rizwan in T20s is not really because of the style of play they have, but it's more so because of the lack of evolution in their playing style. I think if Babar and Rizwan today can start playing at strike rates of 140, 145, 150, I would have absolutely no issue. But I have enough evidence in front of me in the past couple of years that these guys just choose not to improve or evolve with the nature of modern day cricket.
If I asked you to zero in the past couple of Babar Azam performances, what are you seeing in Babar Azam and his style of play that is alarming to you?
I think there is a lot of hesitation in his batting. I feel like he is playing it safe, and there's a lack of risk taking in his batting. And I think that comes from a fear of failure, a fear of not scoring big and being trolled. And that is the main thing that I noticed. Peak Babar Azam, 2022, 2019, played more freely, played at a higher strike rate, and would really accelerate when the time came in the match. And right now, I feel like Babar is having focus issues where I think his highest score in the last 18 months to 2 years is probably 80 something.
Yeah, that 80 that he just scored.
Since the century he scored against Nepal in the Asia Cup, he has not scored a century on the international level. Whether it be test matches, ODIs, T20Is, that's the last century Babar scored. Your son, who is 18 months old, has not seen Babar score a century.
That's true.
So what does that tell us?
I mean, it tells us there's a lack of focus. There's a lack of confidence. There's a lack of direction, I believe. I don't know, man. This man just looks like half the man that he was 3 years ago. And that's tough for me to swallow. Because as many people in the circuit, as boxing cricket fans, rated him extremely highly. this man was supposed to be the answer. Babar Azam was supposed to be the answer to all the Ahmed Shazads that we had to endure, all the Amar Akmals with the loss of potentials, with all the spot fixing scandals and the dark side of the Pakistan team. This man came in 2015 and was supposed to be the light that was supposed to guide us through the darkness. And somehow the darkness has engulfed him and we're left blinded. And I don't know what to do with the shell of Babar Azam that I see on TV.
The sad part is that if Babar retires today, he will still go down as top 5 Pakistan batsman of all time in terms of runs scored. And I had higher expectations from Babar Azam just a couple of years back when he became the ICC Cricketer of the Year. That's a big award to win as a batsman, especially if you're from Pakistan. I think he scored like 8 centuries that year. And we thought he is peaking in the next years. He would continue to build on that. I think I was most disappointed when I heard Babar Azam in a podcast when he was asked, Babar, what is your goal to achieve once you finish cricket? Now, I thought Babar would be like, I want to score X amount of hundreds. I want to be close to Jayawardene, Ponting, Sangakkara. But instead, Babar said, I want to beat Inzamam ul Haq's record. I want to be the highest run scorer for Pakistan. Now, that to me showed that Babar's goals, his aspirations are limited.
Are regional.
He wants to be Pakistan's best batter, but I thought at one point Babar was competing with the Fab Four. The Fab Four debate is different. It's a whole different debate. But at one point, the commentators were talking about that, hey, Fab Four, there might be a Fab Five, and Babar Azam might just have to be fit into it. And for him to have aspirations that are limited and regional disappointed me.
Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show that, you're only as big as your heroes. And if your heroes, not to take anything away from Inzamam ul Haq, by the way, one of the great batsmen, Asian batsmen of all time, no doubt without that. But you have to look at Kohli, you have to look at Tendulkar, you have to look at Jayawardene, you have to look at Ponting. Those are the GOATs in middle order batting and top order batting. And I mean, it's not only that. If you just zero in on the past couple of games, he just looked like a shell of himself. And again, this is a long tournament. Each team plays each team twice at least, and each team plays about 10 games. We're only in the first couple of games, not even 25% in the tournament. So there's a lot more games to go, and I do believe Babar will find a form some way or the other because the repetitiveness. He's a better batsman than we see on TV right now, and so I do expect third, fourth, fifth game for him to clutch in and focus in and zero in on what his aspirations are. But right now, it's been disappointing, man. And it's not only in the batting department; it's in the captaincy department and the fielding department.
I am not a cricket expert. I am not a cricket data analyst. I am not a cricket analyst. I'm just a cricket fan, a student of the game, actually. But if you give me 30 minutes, I can go on Cricinfo and I can tell you top 3 weaknesses of Babar Azam. And the 2 that I found out just in the last 2 days looking at Babar Azam stats is that Babar has been dismissed the most times in T20s by Rashid Khan. 9 innings, 6 times Rashid got him out. And Adil Rashid is also on that list in the top 3 for Babar Azam getting dismissed. So what do I learn? Babar struggles against wrist spin, typically right arm leg spinners. I went today on Cricinfo to find Babar's averages against different bowling types. Babar averages the lowest against left arm pace. So what does Islamabad United do? They bench Riley Meredith. They play Ben Dorchester, a left arm seam bowler who bowls in the power play. What does he do? He gets Babar out. So it's as simple as that to find out Babar's weaknesses and to put it in front of him and be like, have fun.
What do you think Mushtaq Ahmed is doing then? Did you see the throwdowns he was giving to Babar like a couple days ago?
Yeah, but so he was giving throwdowns against spin. Babar Azam has not faced spin this whole PSL. He's faced 5 balls.
Both left armers.
Left armers.
Yeah.
So Babar scored 0 in the first match. He scored 1 in today's match, which some would say is an improvement.
100% improvement.
I think he would,
As the math
if he
suggests.
scores 2 in the next match, by the 10th match, he might be double digits.
That's rough. I think that's hard on Babar. I wouldn't go that far and say that. Like I said, it's a long tournament. We still have a lot of games to come. And maybe Babar will find his mojo because, again, it's not only important for Peshawar Zalmi, but in the larger scheme of things, it's important for Pakistan that this man finds form again. Bashar, I think we wrap up now.
Thoughts on Saad Masood?
Oh, yes, I forgot to discuss Saad Masood at all. I think Saad Masood was probably the highlight for me as a wrist spinner and myself. Lovely action, lovely follow through, lovely googly.
Looked like he was in control of his bowling.
There was one delivery he bowled to, I believe, M.Haris that just ripped on the surface, completely deceived the batsman. And it's wonderful to see It's wonderful to see a wrist spinner in that circuit. and he took his first wicket as well, which I love that he's already in the wickets.
He could have gotten another wicket if it wasn't for Naseem Shah dropping a catch in slips. I don't know why Naseem Shah was in slips.
Yeah, Naseem Shah's fielding is its own disappointment for us. He also missed a sitter run out, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. But staying on Saad Masood a little bit more, I, as a leg spinner, am always excited and tintillated when I see another one coming in. And I liked that Shadab Khan and Saad Masood were playing side by side. That just showed sort of the passing of the baton. I haven't seen this person bat, but you said that he's also a good hand when it comes to the batting as well.
Gun fielder too.
Gun fielder. He looks like his head is in the game. It was a bit rusty in the beginning, but you and I would both be extremely nervous if we were bowling for Islamabad United at the PSL level. And so he has a good future ahead. I would love for Islamabad to give him more games, but not only that, I would love to see him more playing in the domestic circuit in Pakistan and eventually for the green shirts, because the way that he was ripping the deliveries in the air, his googly was so lethal. It was just lovely to see. His 2 overs, even though he got whacked, he went for about 20 odd runs. I loved it. I want more of him. And yeah, kudos to IU for giving him a shot.
M.Haris scored his highest score.
You haven't mentioned him at all yet, by the way.
In the PSL. Yeah.
Wow.
He scored 87 of 47 balls. His previous high was 85, and he looked like just a lone warrior at one point. And it came to a point where it was when Sufyan Mukim came in. The score was 109 for 7 in 13 overs, and Haris started to refuse singles to Sufyan Mukim. This is the lack of batting depth I'm talking about in the Zalmi squad. So when you're chasing big scores, you need guys who can bat to like number 8, number 9 at least. And here, Alzari is coming at number 8, and George Linde was coming at number 7.
How do you fix that? Who do you remove and who do you put in to give that?
I have to take a look at Zalmi's entire squad to make that decision. But I don't even know if they have a lot of good all-rounders.
They have Max Bryan, Najibullah Zadran, and those are the 2 batsmen sitting on the bench. And then all-rounders, they have Masadakat.
Masadakat, top order batsman. Zadran is a lower order finisher. Max Bryant is also a top order player.
They only have 4. They only had 4 all-rounders, and one of them withdrew. Corbin Wash. Who was the replacement for them?
George Linde.
Then George Linde was the replacement. So 3 all-rounders. That's where you basically.
And then they have Nahid Rana for some reason.
When is he going to play?
I don't know.
Stuff. Yeah, I mean, Haris played a great knock, but again, it's really tough to talk about a knock where the team lost a record loss. I think he would be disappointed as well. Even if he scored a century, he would still be disappointed in the effort. It is good that he's in the runs. It's important that he gets some under his belt. Also, I was very surprised that he came into bat at number 4 and he scored 87. I think there may be an answer to our previous question pre-PSL, which was Mohammad Rizwan probably does not make the cut for the T20 squad. Haris should be the keeper. Can he bat in the lower order? He batted at 4 today and seemed pretty good. So if he can adjust himself in the 5th and 6th spot, I think that solves a lot of problems for Pakistan there.
I agree with that.
Right? Yeah, I mean, the tournament is wide open right now, man. Islamabad United are looking good, but it's not, like we said, it's not the end for them yet. And it's not a given that they'll make their way through. But I do believe in Mike Hassan. I do believe in Rehan Bhai. And I do believe that Islamabad will probably be one of the 2 finalists in this tournament. Zalmi, on the other hand, hoping better things for them, hoping a little bit more fight, a little bit more vigor, and hopefully they see themselves through the line as well. We'll be back tomorrow, guys, with the next PSL coverage in our PSL Daily. Thanks to our sponsors, Sendwave. Thanks to our sponsors, Yashi Sports. Thanks to the Patreon fam. If you guys want to join the Patreon chat, check out the Patreon links in the description below. And Bashar and I will be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, on another PSL Daily.
See you.